Hello, and welcome to the University of Law. First of all, happy birthday, Doctor Who, 60 years. Incredible. Now, behind me, you can see I've just been watching the Doctor Who colorized, the Daleks colorized. This is my very quick review. So, first of all, I was really impressed all round. I think in future this will be my preferred viewing option, and for the reasons that I'm about to outline through. First of all, I'm very familiar with the story. I've watched it quite a few times in the past. What I thought was clever with this version was I thought there'd be lots of chunks removed. I think what they did with the edit was they included as much as they could, so as much as they could as possible is in the cut. But there's kind of shortened versions, and there's clever ways that they've done that, which I'll go through in my review in just a moment. But I think it's a credit to the acting, and it's a credit to the original direction and the original writing, in particular the script. You realise how strong the script is presented in this format. I think the colorisation did a wonderful job. I think especially with the performances, there were some nuances, especially in William Russell and in William Hartnell's performances in The Face, that I hadn't detected before, but you detect it now. Also with Carol Ann Ford and Jacqueline Hill as well. So some really great performances there, really standout performances. And the direction, I think the way it was cut was wonderful. But what you forget is actually, although it's been cut and edited in a really great way for this 2023 version, actually it's a credit to the original 1963-64 direction that it still held up and was able to be cut in that way. You know, the fact is the original footage was good enough to be cut in such a wonderful movie-length version. There was a really quick, fast pace to it. It did work. I think there is a fine line between having a quick pace and making something feel like a last time trailer, and I think for the most part it got that balance right. There was a really funny bit with the when they orchestrate their escape with Ian in the Dalek, and it felt like something out of BBC's Hustle on a few years ago with what's the actor called? His name escapes me. He's a really brilliant actor. It will come to me after I finish the review. So yeah, that was really good. Adrian Lester, yeah. It kind of felt like it came straight from there, from the Hustle. So that was fun. But yeah, the colorization was fantastic, really good. Felt so natural, felt so great. Looking at that little teaser at the end, I'm hoping we get much more. The rumour is the War Games is next, so fingers crossed. But again, it absolutely fantastic. So credit to all of the team there. Felt realistic. As you can see, this behind me is my favourite shot from the whole production. That the CGI was great. It wasn't overused. It complemented what was there. For the most part, it was original effects, original shots. But where needed, these new effects really enhanced it. I liked the fact that they had some new bits of dialogue in there, but again it was done sparingly, and as I suspected, it was mainly, well, it was all Dalek stuff, and it was really there to kind of sometimes iron out continuity with the rest of the series, like Genesis of the Daleks. Most importantly, what it did was it paraphrased when larger chunks had to be taken out. But as I said, what they've done with this edit is everything is included somehow. However, sometimes it was paraphrased with some of the Dalek speeches, but that was really good, and it really edited well into that 75-minute format. I think sometimes when you read a book and you watch the film, and sometimes you kind of think, if I hadn't read the book, would the film, would you always know what was going on? I wonder what that would be like for new fans. Obviously, I know the story very well. With the quick pace, I think they tried to, everything was included, but I wonder if some things were maybe a little bit too subtle at times. But if you're a fan who's seen it for the first time and it made sense, then obviously you're a better judge than I am on that. But personally, for me, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. For me, the visuals were great, the CGI was great, the new scenes, the editing, the colorization. But for me, actually, listening to it on my sound system, the actual the standout for me was the sound. And the sound explains how they were able to get it so short, because there were times where, obviously, in the original version, what you'll see is a character, the camera will be on them, and you'll hear them talking. But in this new cut, you'd kind of have these great sort of shots that originally had no dialogue in, and you'd hear other characters talking in the background, moving the story forward. And in that sense, you were able to have twice the amount of footage, so to speak, in the same scene, but you were seeing one thing visually and the other thing with the audio. And what Mark Ayres has done is, first of all, the sound effects were amazing. There was a bit with the rope being cut was absolutely fantastic towards the end. Really brought that to life. Great music, the effects, the sounds, everything. But for me, it was how dynamic the track was. the sounds were moving around the room. And for a production from 63, 64, which was recorded in mono, to have achieved that is absolutely wonderful. I think the big thing was when they were kind of combining various bits of audio in that were from the same scene, but not originally at the same time. When they were kind of overlaying them, you got that lovely kind of stereo feel. It was done in proper stereo. So yeah, for me it was great, but actually I was blown away by all of it. But for me, the soundtrack really made it. It was a really lovely soundtrack. But what did you think? What did you think of the Daleks Colorized? For me, it was the perfect way to celebrate Doctor Who. I think just watching it, you know why this program is still being made now. You know why it's lasted 60 years, because that is just everything is there in that one piece. It's well written, well acted, well directed, everything. And this new edit, this new colorization, this new soundtrack, as brilliant as all of it was, is simply there to serve a solid piece of television that was made 60 years ago this year, and just to celebrate that, because it stands on its own, and this enhances it, but it stands on its own. It's all there in the script, it's all there in the original production, and yeah, it's a credit to 60 years that have gone by and the 60 years to come. So happy birthday to Doctor Who.